One.
Welcome to our council information session, summer 2022. I am the council president, Eva Schechtman.
And I am Kari Bradley, the general manager of the co-op, and I'm going to be co-presenting with Eva today.
And we have a guest with us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Rowan Sherwood.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. So we have a couple of warm-up questions for you, Rowan. When did you join Hunger Mountain Co-op and what inspired you to do that?
I first joined the co-op when I first moved to Vermont, back in probably 2003, 2004. Then there was a little while where I wasn't a member because I wasn't coming to Montpelier. And then a few years ago, I joined up again.
Cool. Are you a member of any other co-op?
I am also a member of REI. Yeah,
cool.
yeah. And I don't know about any others. I think that might be it.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, so our agenda today is to review the missions, ends, and impact, the role of the council, characteristics of effective council members, responsibilities and commitment, benefits, and the application election process. Our mission of the Hunger Mountain Cooperative exists to create and sustain a vibrant community of healthy individuals, sustainable local food systems, and thriving cooperative commerce. The ends policies, more specific, more specifically, we will have a cooperatively owned retail outlet for natural and organic food-based goods and services that meet our member owners and customers' needs, a community increasingly educated about food and health and considerate of the impacts of its purchases, local ownership and control of a comprehensive, sustainable food economy, financially sustainable operations that support and yield economic, social, and environmental returns.
Great, thanks, Eva. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we measure that mission and some of the recent data so you get a sense of how the co-op is doing relative to its mission. So we'll start with the category of members. We have quite a few members, and as of the end of last fiscal year, which would have been June of 2021, we had 10,454, and you can see over the past 5 years that's grown by about 20%. So that's good. And then another way we measure membership is satisfaction. And in our annual member survey this past year, we got very high scores, including members were strongly in agreement with how likely they were to recommend the co-op to a friend or family. So another stakeholder group as part of our mission is our employees, and you can see that our employee base has grown. It was ended the last year at 185. About 130 of those were actual member owners of the co-op, and then of many things that we track with regards to employees' retirement plan participation, and about 83% of employees are participating in a retirement plan, thinking about the future. Next up, local. Of course, a core value of the co-op is supporting the local food system. Last year, we had 395 different vendors who were based in Vermont. About 36% of our store sales came from local products defined as grown or significantly value added within Vermont. And then you can see that local product sales actually were a little bit higher in 2020, came down a bit in 2021, pandemic effect in part, but they've been holding fairly steady for the past 5 years or so. And obviously the co-op is a important piece of the local food system. Local and organic, organic also being very important. And about 13 million, just about 50% of our store sales came from organic products last year. Then environmental sustainability, we track a number of different things, including our energy usage. We've been making strides on reducing the amount of electricity that we're using. Was just under 700,000 kilowatt hours last year. Happy to report that we did purchase 2 solar arrays. It's going to offset most of that usage over this past year. And so that'll be coming out as part of next year's report. And then propane usage is the other piece of that. If you combine those 2 things together, about 136 tons of carbon dioxide emitted, and we did see a decrease in 2021. We're hoping to decrease that even further in the coming years. In terms of financial sustainability, there's a number of different things we track. Total sales, you can see the co-op has been growing, but it's been fairly incremental. This is a mature store, and basically growing right around the rate of inflation over the past few years. In terms of our expenses, you can see the lion's share of our expenses is going right back to the vendors who provide us with goods and ingredients. About 60%. Employee compensation is another big wedge. That thin blue wedge at the top is our net income before taxes and refund. Right around 0.5% to 1% is usually what we are earning. And last slide on impact data would be cooperation. So part of our mission is to support other co-ops. One of the ways we do that is invest some of our resources in other co-ops. At the end of last year, we had over $630,000 invested in other co-ops as a way to use our assets to further our mission. And we also sell products coming from other co-ops, 1.6 million, just about 6% of our sales come from other co-ops products. So I'm going to wrap it up by just a little reflection. See, Rowan, if you have any questions about any of that, or if you have a thought on which types of impact, there's a lot of different things that the co-op is trying to do. What do you think we should be prioritizing in the coming 5 years?
Well, I was interested in a lot of the, in the environmental data, and it seems like it's impressive. The co-op is actually reducing their emissions and waste in a lot of ways. I think that's great, and it would be good to see like how far you can take it. I think that's a great priority. It's a little disheartening to see fewer local products. It might be, I'm just curious about that, like why it has decreased and what could be done about that.
Great. And that's a good example of a topic that the council gets to discuss on a regular basis. All right. Well, thank you. And I'm going to turn it back to you, Eva.
Thanks, Corey. So the role of the council is to ensure the co-op delivers desired results in a manner consistent with our values. That represents the interests of the member owners, articulates the values and the mission, establishes policy, and monitors how the policy is being enacted. Hire and supervise the general manager, and allocate resources and oversee budgeting. So that's what the council, that's our role. And we take it really seriously. The authority that is granted to the council, the authority granted to the council as a body, not as individual council members. And an individual council member has no authority exceeding that of any member of the cooperative. So we make decisions as a body, not as individuals. And council authority originates from state statutes, articles of incorporation, bylaws, and co-op members. And included in that mix is governance policies that go hand in hand with the bylaws. Candidates for council often offer leadership skills and experience, passion for the co-op and our mission, ability to articulate why they want to serve, and an appropriate sense of priorities. This includes being able to put the co-op above personal interests. And effective council members are good listeners and effective communicators, team players who are willing to work with others, personable, even-tempered, and open-minded, and diligent protector who diligently protect members' best interests and are comfortable representing the co-op to the community formally and informally. So effective council members do learn about the co-op and how the council works. So that means that you don't have to know everything about the bylaws and everything about governance policy before you join the council. It just means more that you're willing to learn about that and eager to learn while you're on the council. There's an expectation that you attend trainings that could include conferences and learn more about the trade of being a council member, gather and share information that council members would benefit from, support the council as a team, and think big picture and long term. So this is questions for anybody that is interested in serving on the council. So we're going to ask you, Rowan, have you ever served on a board of directors or a council? And if you did, what was your favorite part?
I have not served on a board of directors before, so this is a lot of new territory for me. One question that I had about something that you shared, you said that like the council is responsible for overseeing the general manager, and I'm just wondering like how that's done and like how hands-on that is.
So the general manager supervises everybody else in the store, and the council supervises the general manager. So when I mentioned monitoring, every month the general manager presents information about a different aspect of operations that the council can examine and ask the general manager about. So that's a really important tool for how we manage the store through the general manager, as opposed to with everybody else that works at the store. Does that answer your question, or did I go a little bit off?
No, that's helpful. I like, getting the reports and stuff. I mean, that makes sense. It was hard for me to imagine like hanging around the co-op being like, how you doing? So
right. Yeah. I mean, council members are certainly encouraged to engage with members and staff at the co-op or any place else, but with the understanding that the council is not, it's not the council's job to tell the staff how to do their jobs. That's the job of the general manager and the senior management. And we do our best to stay out of that territory. Any other questions?
No, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So Council responsibilities, learning members' needs and desires, the co-op's resources, current priorities, and capacity. I think that's really important. Council source documents, the bylaws, the policies, anything having to do with how the council, expectations about what the council is supposed to do and how we're supposed to do it. External trends, opportunities, and threats. Of course, we need to keep on top of everything that's happening in the outside world because, of course, we are part of it. We work to balance interests of many stakeholders, employees, members, customers, vendors, the broader community, and other co-ops. There are a lot, and sometimes, you know, that's all happening at the same time. So making an effort to figure out like what's rising to the top at any given time is definitely part of the work that we do. Responsibilities. Council responsibilities: set and monitor policy, hire and supervise the general manager and evaluate their performance, oversee, oversee acquisition and preservation of the co-op's assets, and inform members about their co-op. Yep. Including council members are generally not expected to directly involved with management employee relations, directly involved with day-to-day operations of the co-op. Very important to underline that, and thank you, Ron, for asking about that. We expect a commitment from council members, including that we maintain a 9 council member council. Generally, there are 3-year terms that the council is elected by member owners. Monthly meetings generally are the first Monday at 5:30 p.m. For 2 to 3 hours. There are also committees that we expect and encourage council members to join and participate in. The upcoming annual meeting this year is on November 10th, and is usually at the beginning of the council year, an annual council retreat. We expect council members to participate an average of 7 to 12 hours per month. And of course, because there are more responsibility for officers, there would be more hours per month for council officers. The council committees, currently the standing committees, the executive committee, that's the 4 officers plus Kari, finance committee, the Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee, which we commonly refer to as JEDI, the Carbon Neutrality Committee, which we also commonly refer to as the CNC. They had a large impact on our carbon footprint in the past year, and so they got a lot of credit for those positive changes in operations. Communications Committee, and the Hunger Mountain Co-op Community Fund, and recruitment. These are committees that reoccur every year, and mainly have monthly meetings throughout the council year. Periodic seasonal ad hoc committees, the Work in Progress Committee, annual meeting committee, the council election ballot, and bylaws. The bylaws committee has been active for the past 4 years. towards the goal of updating the bylaws, and that successfully took place earlier this year. There is still some work that they need to do before the end of the year, so they will continue to work through council year 2022. Any questions about any of the committees before we move forward? Okay, great. So council benefits, opportunity to serve the community, personal and professional development. I know that I've learned a lot as a council member and certainly as the council president. I am very grateful that I can use those skills in other aspects of my life, not just for the council. So it's a huge benefit for me. Many interesting topics and challenges, absolutely. Never a dull moment with the council, and there's always something new and interesting to tackle. So that's definitely a benefit. Part of a great team. It's a great group of people, and it's always really interesting to find out where people are coming from and what they have to contribute. So really appreciate the group that we have. And I can say that for every year that I've been on the council, which if I haven't mentioned before, I'm halfway through the 3.5 years that I've been on the council. So I'm happy to say that every year has included a great team of people. Starting in 2023 council year, there will be a $500 stipend paid at the end of the council year. This is a new benefit, including a limited budget for childcare, elder care, and mileage. Also a new benefit. The benefit that we have had for a number of years and that we continue to offer is a 10% discount on co-op purchases for you and your domestic partner. Applying to become a council candidate. Applications are due on September 6th. That's the Tuesday after Labor Day. That include a photo, a statement about your interest in applying, your interest in being on the council, I should say. Collecting apples, that means all the different things that you can do, including either watching this info session or participating in a live session, getting signatures from council members. There are a number of other things that you can do to show that you're an active participant in the council candidate process. There is a conflict of interest disclosure form that every council member is expected to sign at the beginning of the council year. And as an applicant, that is something that we require. And as I said, the signatures of at least 9 member owners. And if you have more information, if you're looking for more detailed information, hungermountain.coop/council hyphen meetings hyphen resources. That is where you go if you want to get more information. I hope I spelled that out, but it's right there on the slide, and that's really a great resource. Rowan, do you have any questions?
One thing that you mentioned a couple of times throughout this is the council year. Like, how is that different from like a regular calendar year?
Okay, so the council year starts after the council election.
Okay.
So up until this year, the council election started a couple of weeks before the annual meeting, and it ended the evening of the annual meeting. As per the new bylaws, the annual meeting is where the election starts, and the council candidates will be presented at the annual meeting. They can, introduce themselves to the membership there, and then the election will be tallied a couple of weeks after the annual meeting. So
Okay.
officially, the council year starts in December instead of
Okay.
January.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's basically December of this coming year, December of 2022 through November of 2023. That's the council year.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Because I just realized that we hadn't spelled out that change in the slides. So it's really good that that you gave us the opportunity to spell that out for everybody to see. And this is this is our thank you, but I'm also just looking at us back at the council back at the beginning of January, posing in front of the council, the co-op entrance when the mask mandate was still in place. And that included the entrance of the store. So that's why you can see us, except for, between the nose and the chin. Warms my heart to see everybody making an effort to come out to be an active council in these challenging times. Any other questions or comments before we sign off? All right. Well, thank you, Rowan and Kari, for participating in this council info session.
Thank you.
Have a great day.